take it down to what it says. So the big twist is that it has been told in flashback because two chimpanzee travelers through space, Jen and Phyllis, come across a bottle with a note in it warning all to avoid Earth. The note was left adrift by Taylor's character in the novel, which is Ulysses. Mm-hmm. Jen and Phyllis decide to ignore that, thinking that no human is intelligent enough to write. So the whole thing is that that message comes at the end, and that somehow they've warned them that they were on Earth all along, and that Earth had evolved into that. Pierre Boulle hated Serling's ending originally, despised it.
Really?
Threw a fit about it, said, I wrote the bridge on the Requai. How dare you change my thing? Years later, he came to think it was much better than what he had done.
Well, I mean, this speaks to an audience a little bit better. I mean, we've already changed the technology of the advancement of the apes, and this to kind of make them a little more rudimentary.
Right.
This is also very kind of basic in terms of its.
Well, it's so cinematic
surprise,
too. I mean,
yeah.
How cinematic is it if I got two chimps in a spaceship going, look, a message, and no human can write it in the movie?
Look at this note. End of movie.
Yeah.
And you need something that's going to impact the audience. And looking at a national treasure, a monument like the Statue of Liberty,
ruins of it,
the ruins of it is more impactful than anything we've had this entire movie.
So
by far.
Here's what I want to know. Going back a couple minutes, Zaius said that what is Taylor? Or they were asking, what is Taylor going to find out here? And Zaius goes, his destiny. Mm-hmm. How did Zaius know that this was going to affect Taylor at all?
Because I tell you, that one statement is why I have now I've waffled on what does Zaius know, what doesn't he? But that statement says to me he has seen.
He's got to know something.
He's known there's a big statue. Now he doesn't know that Taylor's from this planet.
Yeah, how does he know Taylor has any emotional connection to that at all? Because if Taylor came from,
I can't say anything.
100 years before that statue was built, which in the grand scheme of things is not that big, he could have, or if he came 500 years after it built. Either way, it might have no relevance to him at all. So he could have rolled up on it and said, that's a thing of a person holding something over their head.
In terms of the context of this moment and this minutes and knowing the knowledge of the previous minutes, yes, he would not expect Taylor to have this, to have
the emotional reaction to
any
it.
reaction to it at all.
I'm going to reserve that until we start the next movie.
Well, pin it.
That's done.
We've got months until we get
so
to that.
we talked about this just briefly when I came in because I wanted to bring it up, and so I'll bring it up again. When he does the "aw, damn you, god damn you all to hell," Nova kind of looks up, and then it's a really bad kind of mechanical pullback where it gets kind of grainy, and then all of a sudden it's wide. So that was originally shot in a wide, right? And then they actually kind of had to move in to make that.
They use a lens pull in the transfer
to make a bigger impact.
Basically, kind of zoom in
to
on
go
the
to wide,
and it's a weird. It's not a typical zoom that you would see like we've seen before. And it does because it doesn't pull from the central part of the lens. It pulls from the right.
It does, yeah.
And then it's an optical move that they've brought in, and it's very bizarre. It would have been just as powerful to me to simply cut, and cut to him laying, and maybe even you could have done with Taylor a tighter shot behind Taylor, like he's in the foreground and there's a Statue of Liberty. I think that would have been as impactful a shot.
You have him down in the sand and the mud, clawing at it. Then you cut to a shot of his face in grimace, and then you cut to a close up of the Statue of Liberty's face, and then you pull out to show the Statue of Liberty there, or just cut and show the full Statue of Liberty. So it's him, her. What's the connection?
Right.
Here's the connection.
It makes me wonder what optical effects, what the state of optical effects were in '67 when they did that. Because could you have done a track back shot of Taylor? You probably couldn't have matched the Statue of Liberty. So you got it. But if you did, you couldn't do it. Actually, I'm trying to think of what they did with King Kong, where they did all those mats and the builds around it. That I'm pretty sure that if you built a mat on set, couldn't you pull back? But it doesn't matter. But I mean, there's just so many other ways to do it. But to your point, Richard, it's very weird.
Move,
It's very dated
look. It's very unnatural looking.
Very.
Yeah.
But was it kind of like the idea that if they'd done that entire moment in the wide, it would have not have been like that green patch that we talked about earlier that was supposed to be the promised land or the
passive forbidden zone or whatever.
Zone where the audience were like, what am I looking at? Oh, there it is.
Well, it made me honestly think of the Simpsons episode with the musical, because that pull that weird optical pull feels like a Busby Berkeley movie. How it comes from the girl who's coming to New York and it pulls back and it goes off one side.
You see everybody in there,
right? And I wish I could remember the Simpsons song to kind of sing a bit of that.
Oh my God, I was wrong.
There it is.
It was Earth.
I have to put that at the end of this episode. I used to put those on. Are you laughing? Are you laughing at us or just your husband?
And then, of course,
so much love.
I think of the Homer Simpson whenever he was going to be an astronaut. And then, oh, my God, you made it. God damn, you are to hell. He gets so angry.
So this is the final minute of video.
We have
footage. This is true footage.
Yeah, this is
Anything
the
you
end
say
of
about
story.
This particular moment, this particular final. I mean, we've got another minute or so to actually talk about a little bit deeper in some things. Is there anything in here that you want to talk about because it's the last minute of video?
I do think that I'm the only one that had a childhood experience, as far as I understand, seeing this. To me, and again, it was watching it on a TV when they played it a couple years later. I remember looking and, I don't know, I've probably been 6, 7, 8.
Right.
And just thinking, why is that on their planet? And I remember looking back at my dad and he was like, they're on Earth. And I was just like, what?
I have to rethink some core values, Dad.
I was like, hang on, Dad, I need to drop some acid right now. But, I mean, I think if it floored me like that, think of the audiences in 68. Regardless of all the weird cinematic language we talk about.
Right.
Think of how much there were people going, what? It was almost like a Psycho moment. Pull the curtain back.
Again, is it one of the... we are in a film language and culture now that when the movie's over and it drops something like that, you'd be going, all right, what are they going to do in the sequel? Where do they go from this? Were they thinking, oh my gosh, they're on Earth? Or were they thinking, oh my gosh, they're on Earth? What is Heston going to do next? What's Taylor's next move?
Sequels weren't...
They weren't pop. They didn't happen. Sequels
B-movies were about
it.
B-movies, it was relegated to that. And so when this became the success it did, they freaked out. How do we get more money?
What do we do?
And there were the discussions that there were people saying we should have left Nova pregnant, so you'd have more of a story to go back to.
Oh, so people talked about that. Yeah, interesting.
And so there was a lot of discussion, but they didn't know how to handle it. And without getting into the next one, you'll see, I think when you guys watch it through that lens of how did they do this retro, you'll begin to see, oh, they tried. And I know that the final of the originals probably gets the worst review, and it was just because it was such on a shoestring budget.
You mean the last movie?
The last of the originals.
Yeah, like movie 5.
Battle for the Planet of the Apes. To me, Beneath is the one that stumbles the most because it feels like they were trying so hard to go.
Is that the next one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll see that, but I think you'll see what I'm talking about is they tried to put this together. What?
Sean hasn't seen it.
I don't know.
I talk about it.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm
giving perspective.
I know. I can't wait till we get to the new ones and it flips on Richard and I go, we can't talk about it, Todd. Richard hadn't seen this yet.
But to me, that's really it. I mean, the relevance is that it does belong in those great twists of film history. It's one of those that no matter... Yep. AFI didn't do a best twist list, and I knew that, but everywhere I went... Oh, let's do that.
All right.
All right, give me your top 3 twists that you can think of, and none of us can repeat the other.
Oh, well, come on.
Come on.
We already started naming them at the top of
That's fine. Just name it. What do you think?
I don't know.
Okay, Empire Strikes Back, Planet of the Apes, Psycho.
March of the Penguins.
Oh, you suck at this game.
The Barbie movie.
The
Emoji
movie.
You know what? The Lego movie has a hell of a twist in it.
Well,
have you ever seen the Lego?
Yeah, it does. The Lego
have.
movie does.
It surprised the hell out of me.
What was it?
Okay,
Lego-
spoilers if your kids are watching. Please
Yeah,
turn it off.
remember-
You don't remember that it's the little boys playing with his dad's
the toy the
Legos
whole
all
time,
along?
And the Craggle is...
Oh!
And it's such a sweet ending.
the fact that his dad doesn't want him to play with toys and he just wants to do whatever.
I didn't like that movie.
You didn't?
No,
I really liked it. I thought it was sweet. I didn't expect to like it. I was prepared to hate it. And I loved it. I thought it was sweet.
Cool. Good for you.
No, we get off point. Trust me.
That's half of it. So JJ
Baby,
produces a lot, and so she's giving us...
When you
She's
listen
giving
to
us
these
producing
episodes,
notes.
you'll hear how we ramble.
This movie was better than the Lego movie.
I don't disagree with that.
All right. Cool.
Wow. Okay, so I think we've got a couple more minutes to get through. At least one, and then a hair more to go.
So to
See
give
how this movie actually ends.
To give everybody a a roadmap of where we're going. The next minute we get back to, and Richard, we're so thrilled to have you along on this. We're going to talk about credits. We didn't think, all I can say, thank God there's no star farts on this one. If there were star farts and credits, I might walk out.
Well,
I mean, God bless the Star Wars movie minute guys.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine the end credits that they have to do? They have to do 10, 15 minutes
Exactly.
of
No
this.
doubt.
We get to do
Animators
1
from
minute
New
of it.
Jersey, animators from Korea, animators
Right.
from this studio,
First
animators from
unit,
that
second
studio.
unit.
Exactly.
So we'll
Caterers.
hit credits tomorrow. We are going to try and give it. I've got some perspective on how the film was received at the time, so we'll talk about some things like that. But then on Wednesday, it's the last episode of Planet of the Apes, and I think what we're going to do is maybe talk back on impressions of the film, things that we thought since you hadn't seen it.
You talked about doing the trailer, but I don't think we can because Sean needs to watch them minute by minute. I don't know that we want to.
Well, I found a trailer, and it
Okay.
teases a little.
Okay, because it's a lot of information. It's one of those.
We'll leave it to
almost like-
Sean.
It's almost
You
like
know
one of those modern storytelling trailers where they give you like the entire movie.
Well, there are a couple. I'm like, wow, they did that. Do you want to do
But
that?
you know, I would treat it just like if I were to see it in theaters, I would have seen a trailer for
Okay,
it, and then
fair.
I will see the movie. But I'm only watching it 1
I
minute.
don't know. It gives a lot away.
Well, that's their decision, not mine.
I knew that would be Sean's take on it because he's much more forgiving on trailers than I am usually.
All right.
Okay, so that's it for minute 111, correct?
111, yeah.
111. We will be back tomorrow. In that time, please go check us out on minuteoftheapes.com. You'll find links to all of our social media accounts, Twitter, etc. Interact with us there. Let us hear from you. We love talking to you guys. So that's it for Richard, Sean, and JJ. I'm Todd. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
The minute of the Apes.